Charles Leclerc just dropped a bombshell, revealing secrets from Red Bull and McLaren that could change the game. In a recent interview, Leclerc hinted at a secret energy strategy used by these top teams, giving them an edge on the track. What could it be? How does it affect Ferrari's chances of victory? So let's dive into this video today to know. Get ready for an inside look into the world of Formula One, where every detail counts and every secret could mean the difference between winning and losing. Ferrari had a tough weekend, with McLaren once again surpassing them. Both Leclerc and Sainz noted that Ferrari's energy recovery system, ERS, didn't match up to Red Bull and McLaren. In particular, Sainz struggled with the balance of his Ferrari and seemed a step behind throughout the weekend. Leclerc hinted that McLaren and Red Bull might be exploiting a loophole to get extra performance from their ERS, suggesting that their battery deployment might be a factor in their strong showings. This raises questions about whether McLaren and Red Bull have found a way to maximize their ERS performance beyond the norm. According to Charles Leclerc, Ferrari needs to quickly figure out the unusual way Red Bull and McLaren are using energy to win races. Leclerc mentioned Ferrari had hoped to win their home race in Imola, but it was Max Verstappen from Red Bull and Lando Norris from McLaren who fought for the victory, with Verstappen winning just by 7/10 theses of a second. Leclerc finished ahead of Norris's teammate, Oscar Piastri, but still 8 seconds behind the winner. He believes Verstappen and Norris managed their energy deployment differently, giving them an edge. Leclerc thinks if Ferrari understands this, they can compete for wins. When asked if he could have done better in the race, Leclerc didn't specify. He's focused on understanding the energy strategies of their competitors, which he believes is key to Ferrari's success. In Imola, Leclerc explained, "We couldn't risk losing track position by covering for Oscar in the first stint." He felt it was crucial not to lose position on a track like Imola. At first, Leclerc had difficulty managing his tyres because Piastri was pushing hard in the early laps. He noticed he was catching up to Lando Norris later in the race, so he thought of putting pressure on him. However, Norris and his team responded quickly when Leclerc closed in. Leclerc admitted, "We never really saw Lando again after that." Despite the challenges, Leclerc remains optimistic. He believes, "Our race pace is strong." He's more hopeful than before, especially considering their qualifying performance. Leclerc found that they weren't losing time in turns as he initially thought, but rather on the straights. Leclerc suspects that Red Bull and McLaren are doing something unusual with their energy management, which is affecting Ferrari's performance. He stated, "They are doing something weird with the energy engine-wise." However, he's confident that they can address it. He then stated, "Once we fix that, I think we've got a real shot at winning races again." Leclerc is determined to investigate and resolve the issues with their energy strategy to put Ferrari back on the podium's top step. He even expressed his belief that Ferrari's power strategy during qualifying for the Formula One Imola Grand Prix hindered their race performance. Despite a promising performance in Friday's practice, the team struggled to match the pace of their competitors during qualifying. Comparing Ferrari's performance to McLaren and Red Bull, Leclerc noted a significant difference in speed on the straights. GPS data showed that Ferrari was 34 kph slower, even falling behind Max Verstappen's Red Bull due to the advantage gained from a tow given by Nico Hülkenberg. Leclerc attributed Ferrari's lower grid positions, which eventually became third and fourth after Oscar Piastri's penalty, to their slower pace. He emphasized the importance of track position on a circuit like Imola, where small margins make a big difference. Reflecting on their performance, Leclerc concluded that Ferrari lost crucial time at the start of their qualifying laps. He mentioned a slight difference in power strategy compared to McLaren and Red Bull, which cost them dearly on the run down to turn 2. Additionally, Max Verstappen benefited from the slipstream, further disadvantaging Ferrari. Leclerc acknowledged the need for further investigation into their strategy, particularly concerning track position. He stressed that in such a closely contested competition, every tenth of a second matters, especially when competing against rivals like Red Bull and McLaren. He even stressed the importance of perfection, mentioning that their third-place finish might have cost them a better result in the race. He speculated about Red Bull and McLaren's energy deployment strategies, suggesting there might be something advantageous they're doing. One setback for Ferrari was their decline in the order, despite bringing significant upgrades to the car. Leclerc hesitated to blame the upgrades, stating it's too early to draw conclusions. Initially, he found it difficult to assess the modifications due to the unique demands of the Imola track. Discussing the upgrades, Leclerc mentioned they met the team's expectations in terms of performance data. Despite the challenges of judging upgrades at Imola, he affirmed that the new bodywork, floor and wings fulfilled their intended purposes. Leclerc emphasized the difficulty of evaluating upgrades at Imola, where curb riding plays a significant role. However, he found reassurance in the fact that the upgrades performed as expected, which is always a positive outcome. Following his podium finish at Imola, Leclerc has climbed to second place in the Drivers' Championship, surpassing Max Verstappen's Red Bull teammate Sergio Perez. Despite finishing third, Leclerc might view the race as disappointing, considering what could have been. His teammate Carlos Sainz also had a less-than-ideal race. He finished fifth after starting fourth due to Piastri's penalty. Sainz struggled to keep up with Daniel Ricciardo after the pit stop, losing ground as the race progressed. Ferrari opted for a one-stop strategy for both drivers, unlike McLaren, but their plans were influenced by George Russell's Mercedes. The Mercedes' early stop and subsequent undercut affected the race dynamics. Piastri's rise to fourth place further complicated Ferrari's strategy. This resulted in Ferrari's lack of pace in the race, making it challenging to maintain positions, especially against Piastri. Despite the podium finish, both Leclerc and Sainz might feel there were missed opportunities for better results at Imola. In hindsight, extending the stint didn't yield any advantages for Ferrari. Leclerc could only prolong it by 3 laps due to pressure from George Russell's Mercedes, which was undercutting them. Additionally, Sainz faced various issues with his SF24 from the pit onward, affecting his performance. Leclerc expressed his discontent with the weekend's difficulties, mentioning problems with the car discovered after qualifying. He emphasized the need for a thorough investigation to address these issues before Monaco, ensuring a smoother race weekend. He remained optimistic about Ferrari's recovery potential for future races. On the other hand, Sainz didn't delve into specifics but hinted at aerodynamic and engine-related problems, particularly at the race's start. Ferrari decided to install a third power unit on Leclerc's car at Imola, primarily for safety reasons. Team principal Fred Vair elaborated on Sainz's issues, attributing them to track traffic and tyre management, resulting in excessive tyre overheating. Analyzing Ferrari's strategy and performance at Imola, Ferrari carefully considered their strategy to counter the Mercedes undercut at Imola. But it wasn't just about that. The SF24, unlike recent Ferrari cars, has shown stronger race performance than qualifying performance. This trend was evident at circuits like Imola, where overtaking is challenging. Carlos Sainz highlighted the importance of qualifying, echoing team principal Fred Vair's sentiment that starting at the front is crucial for success. Sainz emphasized the significance of Saturday's qualifying results, suggesting that qualifying performance carries more weight on such circuits. He acknowledged that qualifying remains Ferrari's weak point, indicating an area for improvement. Discussing the team's updates, Sainz assessed them based on Charles Leclerc's performance, noting Leclerc's competitive race pace as a positive sign. Despite the weekend's lackluster overall performance, both Leclerc and Sainz seemed content, indicating satisfaction with their respective races despite the challenges faced. Fred Vair, the team principal, echoed the positive sentiments about Ferrari's performance at Imola. Despite challenges on the track, he considered it a good weekend overall. Vair emphasized the difficulty of overtaking at Imola, making it crucial to maximize performance when pushing. He highlighted the team's ability to close the gap during the race, but noted the challenge of avoiding tyre overheating while doing so. Vair acknowledged that Saturday's qualifying results heavily influenced the race outcome, indicating room for improvement in future races. However, Vaser was optimistic about Ferrari's competitiveness in the race, pointing out their significant improvement in performance. He viewed the close competition among 3 teams within 7 seconds after over 60 laps as a testament to Formula One's excitement. Vaser concluded by expressing confidence in Ferrari's current pace and their ability to contend for the top spot. While acknowledging the need for further improvement, he believed that Ferrari was on the right track and capable of making strides forward in the upcoming races. So, what do you think of the top secret of Red Bull and McLaren exposed by Charles Leclerc? Comment below and subscribe for more.